Yeah, what up, aliens? Sorry, gotta close up the room a little bit. Yeah, want to show off the new hat a little bit. It's up at the VA. Excuse me, I hope everybody can hear me. We'll wait for a couple people to check in. Showing out the new hat. Was at the VA hospital down in Prov. You know what I mean? So you only get to get around, get your military gear here and there. Very hard to find Marine stuff. Very hard to find Marine stuff that ain't capped. You heard? Marines are known to cap just a bit. You heard? Fashion known to cap a little bit from us. Contemporary though, we've been known to lower, raise, higher, upper, lower caps. You heard? Hey! Look it up, we the first. Hey, cause Martin told us some things. Yo, Joey Joe's out here today to tell you some things. I'm gonna be talking some actual truths. We'll be talking some case study, some actual factuals. For all my great influences out there that check in on my, why do they say it, my unique viewers, my super viewers, my dope family, FASH family's grown, you heard? Um, they're taking us a little more serious on the map. We do have a purpose here, and I believe today's video is going to strongly reflect today's purpose. You know, let me bring this up on the computer here, is that, you know, Fash is doing this little hip hop thing, doing a little rap thing, still keeping up with his dailies, yo, checking in with this video, make sure you guys check in with some of the shorts, some of the longs, freestyles have been kind of fluid lately, you heard? Getting wet in this, but wet, yo, and so we do it. And it's this, yo, I've addressed a couple things that's gone on in the hip hop universe since I've, you know, joined over and participated as an active soul, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, I started during during the era when we were going through a technicality era where the whole world was shut down and there wasn't many clubs to go to. So you know, Fash got one of he got his first live performance up there. I think that's all I have up on his YouTube. Was my first live performance over in I believe it was up in Quincy. And, you know, that was the first time I ever did Views and Choices. That was a very important song to me. It spoke a lot about the culture that I followed and that I love, you know what I mean? It starts off with Burning Mac, a big salute to Burning Mac. And it just goes through to, you know, some of the, who I felt bring some of the true reality of the streets, some of the true subjects that needed to be addressed into hip hop, you know. And that's, you know, the big brothers, the structure NWA, the structure of PD, the structure digital, the structure of tribe, the structure of the Woo, bro, the structure of mob, yo. Salute to all these gentlemen that was put in, but yo, NWA strongly touched me, and yo, Cube's reign was bananas. Salute, sir. That should be a doctrine right there. That should be a no-brainer doctrine right there. That should be Dr. Ice Cube right there, no-brainer. The writing and the heart and soul that this gentleman's putting into his culture and poetry and in entertainment, and it's bananas. He's like at least 1/5. He could be 1/5. He could be 1/7 of the GOAT era entertainment that we've been witnessing since say like the 90s to current, bro. We've been able to witness some things in time that's it's been unbelievable. We've had some strong ups and we've had some strong downs, and it's just been like life, right? You know, it was once described to me by my homie, Mr. Powers. I bring him up a lot. We talk a lot, you know what I mean? That's my homie. We reflect. It's strong. It's good to have a strong soul to reflect off of, and that's one that I use. And the homie would tell me, he'd be like, you know, every life, because we've seen this generation of the world go through it, but all our individual lives, I'm sure, I know my life has some peaks and downfalls and whatnot like that. You've heard about them in my music, and we'll talk about them a little bit more today. But like the gentleman said, is, you know, At the time, we would address like more like addict behavior, fiend type behavior. Upstate we call it fiend type behavior. Just send them a little time too, so I can talk to them like that. You know what I mean? So, but you can recognize this behavior. Um, excuse me. And in ourselves as well, we would call it, these are defects that we call out in ourselves. Maybe we call it like fiend type behavior because that's what will get us to our diseases, right? And so life has these extremes, ups and downs, like a roller coaster, right? And what we like doing as extremists is we like to ride the extreme highs. We like to be like really high. We like to be celebrating and stuff like that, and we feel the extreme lows. We remember, we build paradigms off of the extreme lows in life where we don't ride down the center. And that was this homie's advice in just an individual's life, was just don't ride the peaks and the valleys. Learn to, even when stuff's great, learn to accept it and walk a straight path. When stuff's down, learn to walk it at the even path. This way you don't feel those extreme ups and those extreme downs, because sometimes those extreme downs will eliminate some things. It will put more than a hindrance. It will take souls off this world. And that's what we're here to prevent, right? So Dark Light, we've been through a lot of stuff. Yo, yeah, I mean, yeah, we got the gray hoodie. Who don't? Like, yo, FASH ain't out here to copy styles and nothing like that. Yo, I got my lower cap USMC on. I got multis for days off of my savage roots, alright? But it ain't about that, because it don't make sense. I'm going to say this, it don't make sense. FASH is coming in this culture. Yo, my beef is with the GOV. You gotta understand me. FASH was United States Marine, a sergeant, United States Marine, and I do not want forgiveness for my crime. I don't want nothing like that. You gotta fully understand and hear this video. I accept what I did. I apologize for what I did. I've lived in remorse. The full meaning of remorse, meaning not to do it again and to live in an apologetic way for the remainder of my life. Not drinking and driving. You know, FASH, keep it 100 with you. Yes, I've had a couple beers since I've been out of prison. I've had beers after that accident, to show you how much we ride these ups and downs, and sometimes rock bottom is never enough. Yes, FASH was that idiot who still drank after that. I haven't in years and years and years, because I don't like the headache it gives. FASH has finally learned, finally it took enough bumps off the fucking ground. My noggin hit the pavement enough times for me to say, I don't like that no more. I'm good, it shaped me. You know what I mean? I'm blessed because that's not a factor in my life, because I see people who struggle with it, and it brings people out of character, and it's unfortunate I'm so ignorant to the ways that bring me out of character during these times, that I was around people that you probably want these memories. Like, let's dig into this deep, I'm opening my soul. So what I'm saying is, like, you got beef with FASH, it don't even make sense, bro. My beef is with America right now, bro. America, I do love and I do support, and I believe we all have room right here on this land, on this earth. I don't like lines. You could wipe off all the country lines if you want to, bro. It's like that. Non-territorialists, like, what are we doing here? We're not barbarians no more. Everybody just needs their space, and we're okay. There's enough room on this planet, believe me. We built up enough. We've concreted enough of this world, this blessed world. Those are like scabs on a living body. But anyway, all right. So let's get deep, though. Today's going to be about DOC reform. If you know influencers, if you know anybody that has anything to do with the DOC, who's caught up in the DOC, who might help in some kind of appellate way, lawyers, influencers, public speakers, people. I need people that's up in legislation. As FASH spoke before legislation. Before I put my story out there of the accident and everything, I put my story out there for to get money up for homeless, for veterans, for reformity and stuff like that. So today we're talking DOC reform. FASH had an epiphany the other day that really feels that it's good. Let me absorb this and leave in the comment sections. Let me know how this hits you, especially if you know about the DOC prison, because there's a prism that goes behind prism. There's a prism. There's so many facets to a prism. There's directors, there's COs, there's there's going to be an element that counseling that we're going to talk a little bit stronger about, but they get these things called CPOs that they pretty much like navigate where you go throughout the system. Like moving rats around in a system, it's not that hard, bro, and not physical, not telling rats. Excuse my lingo. I'm talking about medical laboratory they're moving mouses around, bro. Sheep bad. Okay, so fascism ring will no longer be a sheep. It's never been a sheep, even when I was upstate, yo, it was whatever. But so FASH has been on both sides of the desk to say this. I can report some things. And it's not on some telling stuff, yo. Y'all gotta really hear me out, because this might really help a lot of families, right? Like that wild ass homie with the different shades of the places he used to be and can't go no more, yo. Whatever with that kid, I'll tell you how to actually fix this DOC system, how to actually like not have to worry about rats and stuff like that, bro. How to actually fucking dig into this world, bro. Dig in. You want to fix something? We're trying to fix these people. We're catching these people, fixing these people, building an industry off of it. A little bit. We got a pension system set up on criminality, meaning that there has to have crime to happen for these people to have future lives in 20 years. So we already know this crime's going to be here. How? What if everybody stopped doing everything tomorrow? What are you going to do? You're going to really dig in and you're going to try to make your quotas. That's exactly what you're going to do. And this is what FASH is here to tell everybody some of the stuff that we need to negate, we need to really look into, and there will still be jobs. See, I figured out that, I don't know, so FASH went from getting 3,000 views on a video overnight, 3,000 to 5,000 views on a video, and I was putting out 3 to 5 videos a day. Y'all seen me, yo. And then it went to 3,000 views in a month. Yo, like I got somebody checked in right now. Thank you so much for checking in. You ain't even gonna type nothing right now. Thank you so much for just being here. Thank you so much, blessed one. I love our family. But they're barely showing us to anybody, yo. My closest kin to get one notification of a video I did a week ago or something. I've already talked about this. So what I believe happened was I may have angered, and we're gonna keep this as best at language. I may slip a couple times with the curse words and stuff like this, but I'm gonna try to keep this as well worded as I can so that this could be really used. Pass this along, pass this video to everybody you know, to anybody that has ever been affected by the prism of the DOC. And the prism of the DOC is this. I talked about just some of the staff factors, this thing. We got we got maintenance, we've got laundry people that would go in there, we got like random people that go in there, that's fine, all right, whatever. FASH ain't out here to tell you how the inside system works. What FASH is here to tell you about is how the system is not working. Everybody talks about DOC reform. There's a $10 word. FASH likes to call it rehabilitation. There's supposed to be a word called reintegration, another fancy $10 word. And I got factual case study that none of this is being done. So this is the report on America. Y'all like locking us up. Y'all like locking the souls up. Well, guess what? There's a soul that's willing to step up and talk. But see, so now that pisses off the algorithm a little bit, right? But that's just energy. Now hear me out, algorithm, because that's just energy. I'm talking straight to the algorithm right now. Hear me out. That is just energy. I'm not going to touch your dollars. Listen to this. I'm going to show you ways to bring more jobs into the DOC. All right? So I won't say no more, take away their funding. No. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add money to you. We're going to give you all more money. And more help. What we'd like to do is we'd like to meld in a portion of the DMH in with the DOC to complete what I'm going to tell you right now is missing and has failed in the Department of Corrections in Massachusetts. I could tell in Massachusetts. I could talk about Massachusetts. I don't like using the word tell. That sounds mad weird. FASH did 7 years upstate, did not tell on a single soul. Yo, that's why FASH did this time, yeah? Listen, I ain't got no past stains of places I couldn't go no more. Yo, it don't make sense to come after FASH, because FASH got one enemy, and it's the bad element of spirit of energy that we live on this land that can be corrected without affecting personal souls and personal bank accounts, okay? Or even industry bank accounts. We're going to actually try to help y'all get more money, right? So it's this. When you lock up somebody, right? This is epiphany FASH had, and I'm going to share it right now so that you can decide whether or not to continue with me in the video. First, the prison real quick. So we got that side of it. Now the other side of it is you got the prisoner themselves, the souls of the prisoner themselves, the family attached. We're going to talk about that in a second. The victims and the victims' families attached. Now, FASH every single day, every single night. I'm putting this out here right now. My Lord, I love you and I'm sorry. I'm putting this out here right now. Every day of my sentence, I prayed for my victims' families, for peace. I don't say that to brag. I say that to prove a point. This is some Matlock stuff. Y'all keep up with me for a second, right? Dig this. There's three elements to a person going away, right? And it's punishment. It's to punish the person. It's for civil protection. It's to protect society against that person, and it's for victim, and it's for the victim retribution. It's for victim retribution. Excuse me. So those are three elements of why a person gets locked up, right? Even when they get on parole and stuff like that, if a person goes on parole, and this is why FASH said 10 years of probation, yo, FASH couldn't have a loud voice for a long time, yo, because they put a little mute box on FASH for a little while because they had 10 years probation. Yo, you can't rock the boat. You can't rock the boat. Those 10 years probation, what they do is the second you become a threat, the second they feel you're a threat to society, they will pull you off the streets and lock you up until they decide whether or not you're a threat to society. And that's not lost time. That's not freaking stolen time. They're absolutely not kidnapping you. Bunny ears. They're absolutely not kidnapping you. However, I had my homie listen, so I'm gonna put some of my case studies out there. I'm gonna put my homies out there on the strength of the I'm gonna use a little jail terminology, so please keep up with me. We're gonna keep up with many facets of this prison that is prison. And so all right, there we go. We got all the different elements of souls that are affected right now. We're not even talking about budgets. We're not talking about housing. We're not talking about buildings. None of that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so we talk about the three elements of why this person needs to be off the street. Why is this soul got to be off the street? He's got to be punished. Society got to be protected. Victim retribution. Fine. Okay. FASH don't even have a problem with that. All right, stay with me. To a degree. Listen, that if you didn't catch the beginning of this video, I speak largely on quoters, and once we get to this mainstream, once we get to this evens, FASH is loving this evens. Once we get to evens is balance. Evens is balance. This coming from a gallant savage. Evens is balance, yo. Loving evens. Once this comes to evens, we ain't gonna have a reason. Yo, we don't have a reason for freaking hardcore churches no more. Why do we have a reason for hardcore pens, bro? We might not have a reason. Yo, some of these people might be able to go out there and be fathers and mothers again, right? All right, so FASH is going to talk about, all right, so how somebody could get taken off the street real quick. Quick case study. FASH has a homie Russia. Whether or not he would talk about his stuff would be entirely up to him. But FASH knows personally, he got taken back off the streets for something that he didn't do for an entire year. So he lost an entire year of his life. And it was for something that he got proved not guilty or found innocent from, or wasn't supposed to be there in the beginning. Whatever his case was, he wasn't supposed to be there at all for that year. That's all I know. He wasn't supposed to be there for that year. Everything else I don't know. He wasn't supposed to be there for that year. They locked him up just because he was on probation, and they felt he was a threat to society, so they took him off the streets for a year, away from his family, bro. Away from his family, and didn't even really look into the situation. Now, this is where we're going to talk. This is where we're going to put jobs. This is where we're going to put people. We ain't got nobody looking into the situation. And now FASH is going to take that completely off that junk. I'm so sorry, Russia. It's just for the fact that, to be real, that, yo, I did 10 years on probation, and yes, you could be taken off the streets just on the fact of you being a threat. So that is one of the three elements, right? We got the punishment. We got to punish our criminal. We got to punish our felon. FASH is a felon. We got to punish our felon. We got to make sure society is safe from that felon. Which probably means that my scruples got to be together, right? Coming home, meaning that's the That's the rehabilitation we do before the reintegration, right? Rehabilitation is supposed to come before reintegration. FASH is a 3.9 Human Services associate's degree. So I'm a little bit smart, very intelligent, smart, very emotional, smart, high emotional intelligence. Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so punishment, civil society's got to be protected, and the victim, Now, FASH is going to talk about his case right now. FASH is going to talk about his case right now, and why he just came out the side of his neck and talk about his prayers. You're not supposed to talk about your prayers. Yeah, absolutely. You don't do it. FASH did not do that to boast whatsoever. That knowledge is out there to say this. The DOC, the United States government, did not check in at all with these victims till 6 years and 6 months later. So FASH's first parole hearing came up. That's the first time the government decided to think about these victims, since they so strongly cared about them, put a human soul away, and wants them, but rightfully so, they want them at your parole hearing because they care for them now, 6.5 years later. What were you doing for this family during those 6 years? Were they paying for their own counseling? Were you doing anything for them? You care enough to punish people. You care enough to punish people and collect souls and collect money for it. Are you actually doing anything? DOC reform. Are you ready? Are you seriously ready? This is a lot of souls. This is a lot of souls. So we got the victims. FASH's case study right there will just show you how two beautiful families never, ever got checked in again since the day I was put in cuffs and sent upstate for 7 years until my first parole hearing came up. At 6.5 years later, the government, United States, and the DOC of Massachusetts, Department of Corrections of Massachusetts, decided to care for these families' well-being. Thoughts on FASH being locked up? FASH, thoughts on Joseph being locked up? Myself sent all the papers. My paperwork's out there. My paperwork's clean. My paperwork's out there for everybody to see. And so it's in the freaking law library, bro. FASH ain't got no hidden shit on his. Yo, go look it up. FASH has made a horrible decision. FASH, this gentleman, Joseph Clint, made a horrible decision one night. I went to a Christmas party. I put keys in the ignition after having a couple drinks. It wasn't even the worst. Yo, FASH was a young, immature man. It wasn't the worst I've ever drank and drove back then. I had a .12. FASH had a couple drinks that night, giving the bonuses to my gentleman that worked for me. I was vice president for a company. Yo, beautiful, beautiful people, bro. Again, this company, right, that's got nothing to do. All right, so we'll leave that company. Is that the company dismantled after that, of course. FASH went upstate. Company got sold later on. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that, but there was some beautiful people involved with my life. However, I made a horrible decision that night to put the key in the ignition and drive home. I believe God answered my life. I've thought about my life for a couple decades. I've felt the omnipresence. I've had an NDE. I prayed for those gentlemen. I prayed for their families for almost 7 years, 6.5 years. I'm talking morning prayers, afternoon prayers, nighttime prayers. And Massachusetts didn't care about these people till 6.5 years later, when it came to time to, should we keep this guy longer or not? Should we house this person longer or not? Can we keep this quota? Now, how can we fix these things? FASH is not one to just bring a problem and not bring a solution, right? So the epiphany was this, right? The epiphany was this, is there is already places set up. All right, one more case study real quick, because it's going to talk about reintegration. I can't miss this one. So that's 2 case studies. The third case study is this, reintegration part, right? The reintegration piece is, all right, So FASH has a very close personal friend. Um, very close personal friend. I've talked about my friend before. We may be doing a fantasy football show together. This guy is a brother to me. We did 6 years upstate. I don't want to put the gentleman's name out there, and unfortunately, he kind of goes by his initials. So I don't want to be like that. Yo, we'll just call him. All right, we'll call him RJ. There you go. There's a couple of initials, so we'll call him RJ. So Fash got a very close personal friend. I gotta remember those two letters, RJ. So Fash got a very close personal friend, RJ, that is from the west coast of Massachusetts. I did 5.5 years locked up from this gentleman. He's an absolute Giants fan. His father's from New York. Absolute Giants fan. Fash is an absolute Dallas fan. So you already know the struggle there. We're in the NFC East. Yo, he's an absolute alpha dog in the Protestant chapel. Whenever the Protestant chapel opened, yo, he was the first one there to help set up Whenever the Catholic side helped open, that was Fash's spot. Yo, so me and his brother, there wasn't many people that went down. We had Muslim brothers that went down. We had Wiccan brothers that went down. You know, whenever the chapel was open, Fash like being down there. So did this gentleman. We had kindred hearts. You know what I mean? But I'm speaking on this gentleman right now because I know him to be from Springfield, Massachusetts. Springfield, Massachusetts. Now from Fash's town, New Bedford, Massachusetts, Fash's little city, little secret city. That's like you say, West City. Overpopulated little ass city, little ghetto, throwaway city. No, it's not a throwaway city, and that's why Fash is here. Larry, no. Alright, can't get caught up in my city. It's serious though, because it's this. Alright, so you see how Fash couldn't wait to come home, right? When Fash was brought home, he was brought to a veterans hospital. Fash was blessed enough to do some stuff before I went in and got locked up honorably. That I came home to some benefits. That was my benefit. Those benefits were earned. Those benefits were earned through me busting my ass for 4 years. I made sergeant in 4 years as a combat engineer. I've seen people not make it in 10. You know what I mean? I made it. I made sergeant. That was my goal. I made it. I bring my family home. I want my kids to meet my pops. Absolutely grew up blessed. The rest is history. I'm gonna tell you this. We're going to go back to Fash's case study because we're going to talk about another set of victims, and it's Fash's family for one. Fash's family for one. I'm going to pause for a second because I'm going to pause right there for a second. We're going to go back to the case study, RJ. So I know of RJ to be from Springfield, Massachusetts. This is a good 3 hours drive. Just a good 3 hours drive. Now they put us through this integration class. They take us out of whatever we're doing, and they put us in this little class, and they tell us how they're going to get our mass health started, and how they're going to reintegrate us into society, and how they're going to, this, that, and the other thing. Well, they took this gentleman. Fash was going to college at the time. Fash was on the way to class. Boom, on the way to class, getting ready to leave, heading right outside the door. I was with a woman that drove at the time. I'm not going to talk about my whole past and stuff like that. Is that Fash was with somebody that had wheels at the time. Homie hit me up. He was in New Bedford, Massachusetts. He has no roots in New Bedford, Massachusetts. No roots in New Bedford. They dropped him off. They handcuffed him. Bring them to the middle of New Bedford, Massachusetts. One of the wild ass cities in Massachusetts. One of the wild ass cities on South Coast, East Coast. Come South Coast, East Coast. You get past New York, yo, you're gonna hit us. It's like that. It's to the bus stop. I get a call from the homie. He's like, yo, Joe, you can kick. I'm like, Richard? Richard, right? That's a good R name, Richard. Is this you? I haven't spoken to you for about a year or so. Yo, drop the homie off in the middle of nowhere. Why? Because, we're gonna get into some reasons. There's a couple reasons why this could happen. In fact, I'm gonna tell you why. This is where the reintegration part is failing on the DOC part. So if we're paying money as taxpayers, right? We're paying money as taxpayers. These three elements should be taken care of if we're putting away some felons, right? If we got a good reason to put somebody away, if we got a good reason to take a soul off the street and lock them up away from their family, because that's where this last victim I'd like to bring up is Fash's family, Joey's family. Fash made it. Every time you heard me make one of these videos, every time I spoke in front of legislation, every time these lips have moved about my accident, I made the horrible decision. Joey G made a horrible decision to put keys in the ignition that night and drive while I was having a couple of drinks, while I was being intoxicated. Shouldn't have, because I was 10% guilty. I was 100% guilty. It didn't matter. The other side of the case don't even matter at this point. You want to understand the other side of the case? Go watch prior videos. See, this is the other thing. So the DOC locks you up, but they don't even understand the full thing. So FASH is a personal case. I described this to a couple Uber drivers lately. Their faces just dropped. Yes, I did have I was at 0.12. I was illegally drinking and driving, and FASH was absolutely dead wrong for that. No jokes, no jokes. The gentleman I got into an accident with, the driver was 0.30. Over twice the intoxication, almost legally, like dead by alcohol, driving. They had an expert testimony witness on the last day, unannounced, speak for this gentleman and say that he might not have been that intoxicated because he was a long time alcoholic. You know, FASH being in the Marines might have drank just 1 or 2 beers every now and then. Anyways, FASH was a straight drunk back then. I understand what the gentleman was talking about, but listen, whatever the limits were, and whatever the tests were, I was 0.12, the gentleman was 0.30 twice. So we got that. We got 5 reconstructions done by the Massachusetts State Police. 5 reconstructions. You can look this all up. There's 5 reconstructions done by the Massachusetts State Police that says they don't know who crossed the road. I'm gonna pause with that for a second because for 5 reconstructions by these intelligent Massachusetts State Police, FASH knows a lot of them and does have a lot of respect for them. There are some good brothers in blue. There are some bad brothers in blue. Just like every good and bad fucking species on this earth. Listen, this affects every soul. So, FASH is getting lost here a little bit. So 5 reconstructions done, all inconclusive. Every single one of them inconclusive. So that sounds a whole lot like they needed a case. I'm sorry, when I started, I didn't know this back then. After I started learning about quotas and when you see FASH do this, FASH was the good witness. FASH was never told in his life. You could look on that paper. Yo, I give you my government to the fullest, yo. FASH ain't never told on it nothing in his life, yo. I give you my fucking government and everything, yo. It don't matter. This is when FASH goes into his conflict mode, because it's very important to know that this is coming from a solid source on both sides of the desk. All right, I ain't never had to tell to exist in prison, freaking whatever. I never had to do nothing crazy. FASH did what he did, sat on the boss table because he was respected as a respected soul, and that's all we need to be, right? At the end of the day, that's all we need to be. All right, so we got FASH had the rod that went through his face into the coma for a week. FASH I have no memory to this day. I can't think of that memory. I can't think of it. It's not in my head. Yo, if you spend 2 years trying to think of one day that ruined your entire life and you can't fucking think of this day, you're probably never going to think about it. I'm probably never going to come up with what actually happened that night myself, so I have no memory of it. So we got 5 reconstructions, inconclusive. We have a gentleman with no memory. We have the other driver twice as drunk, and we have no reasonable doubt. We have no reasonable doubt. So FASH went away because FASH absolutely did put that key in the ignition to begin with, and that's what I had to accept. That's why I did my 7 years. Was that a strong punishment for 7 years? Given the circumstances, I'll let y'all be the judge of that. You can leave some comments. Like I said, please share this video. It's going to be very important. FASH Joseph Gallant feels this is going to be very important. Joseph W. Gallant III feels this is going to be very important. If you want to look up anything about me, all my minutes are out there. There's nothing blocked about FASH. Maybe his military career. Not even, I'll show you my DD-214. There's nothing blacked out on that either. I went to Egypt. Egypt was supposed to be a little bit on the quiet, but it wasn't because everybody knew about it, so it didn't make sense. We were in Egypt. We're getting filmed by France tourists at the pyramids. I'm pretty sure they know we're there. With a Kevlar rifle, so I'm pretty sure they know we're there. So, anyways, let's get back to the DOC reform. So, the third victim, being the most closest to FASH, of course, is FASH's family. So all this investigation that I just poured out in front of you, I've showed you my place in it. I've showed you that I've accepted my place in it. I've showed you remorse for my place in it. I've showed you that I've cared about these people more than the state of Massachusetts. I believe. Please put your opinion. Please share this. If you feel this soul, share this. It might help another soul. So, as I described my whole accident and case and days in courts and stuff like this, in the last minute they got it, so they were allowed a last minute expert testimony witness without being announced. So he was objected, and at first he was thrown out of court. The judge said, "I can't let him in. You didn't say nothing about him." The judge also said, this was on a Friday, right before Columbus Day. This was on a Friday. The judge also said, "Listen, without that element, we can't put this gentleman in jail for this. So we're gonna have to drop this case at that time." The DA made another objection. The DA appealed it. They dismissed court. So we were gonna convene on Monday morning. They dismissed court at like 2:30 p.m. Like FASH got the minutes, we could look this up. About 2:30 p.m. FASH lives in New Bedford. It's about an hour ride to Boston. From New Bedford to Boston, about an hour ride or so. So by 4 p.m., the DA had the judge's decision overturned about letting this expert witness in, and come Monday morning, the expert witness was let in. Now, to be 100% honest, FASH always keeps his full soul 100% honest, because I'm going to talk to you about that punishment piece as well. As soon as that was stated, as soon as the judge said that this case is going to be thrown out because you're not allowed that expert witness, you did not declare him, one of the relatives in the back row to my right, behind me, screamed out, "He's going to get away with murder. He's going to get away with murder." There are some things, there may be some haunts, some experiences in your life that may haunt you a little bit, that may go through your bones when you think about them here. That's one of them. At that point, I told this to a gentleman of the state that wanted to punch me right in the face, and I understand why, because you want you up there, you want every day back what you can. But there was a point that I wanted to be punished. Maybe there's different ways to punish people, but I absolutely wanted to be punished to help that soul, to help that suffering soul. FASH was a Marine 2 years prior. I was already feeling disgusting about myself that I was involved in an accident with two people that I was sworn to protect. When FASH became a Marine, FASH wanted to travel. He was a young man, yes, but there was one honorable thing I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to rep New Bedford. My grandfather did it. Yeah. It's a way out the city. I just told this to an old veteran the other day as I was going through my appointments the other day. He's an old man in a wheelchair sitting next to me. "Yo, take your time, speak to these old people. You'll have some touching moments. We need these touching moments in our life." I heard this gentleman's story out, and I didn't even tell my grandfather went to Korea. I just wanted to hear his story. He gave me his story. It was such a beautiful story. I saw him tearing up a little bit. I forget the reason. So I was talking when it came to my turn to speak. The only thing I told him was this, because I had the Marine Corps hat on, and he had already told me it was Air Force. And I wanted to let him know I absolutely respected him, because sometimes they feel a little funny, you know what I mean? People feel funny around Marines for some reason. All right, we're normal people, gentlemen, ladies. We might just see the world in a different way. But we're here to explain it. We're here to share, right? So we leave places cleaner than where we came. So I'm listening to this gentleman's story, and I tell my story back, and that was absolutely my piece. I told him, I said, "You know what?" I said, "When I joined, it was '96. I thought we were going into the second Desert War, and I absolutely wanted to know what I was doing. I'd bring up my father when I talked to him. My father's his last name's Savage. Our names, we rep our names well. His last name's Savage. FASH got Savage roots. FASH got real Savage roots. Everything you hear from FASH is 100% true, and that's why it's Joseph Gallant. That's why it wouldn't make sense. I'm not trying to battle rap with people. It don't make sense, bro. Like, when I'm coming, I'm not bringing you a character. I'm bringing you Joseph Gallant, bro. I'm bringing you the guy that went through prison. I'm bringing you the guy that missed 7 years with his children. I'm bringing you the guy that has some fire in his heart, that wants to fight. I wants to fight. You want to fight him, Marine? Let's go, bro. No, just play. I really don't. You want to put the ball in? I'm always up for anything, yo. Shadow boxing with the GOAT. I love it. Shout the kid out. If I'm shadow boxing with any GOATs, please shout the kid out. Come on, he did it off a mobile phone, off of one takes. That's a little bit of fucking hip hop genius. Oh my God, the bragging. I'm sorry. I'll take that all back. But word, shout the kid out. Let him be known, yo. This is gonna be important, bro. There's a reason why we're all here. Fash has a reason here. This is Fash's reason. So you step on stage with Fash, you're not stepping on with a made-up character, an MC, somebody I believe in, a clique that I'm trying to back up. I'm coming in with life experience, bro. If you have a problem with my life experience, we could talk about it. You know what I mean? That's where the conversation's gonna go every time. I probably ain't got no problem with your life experience. So if we're on stage talking about each other, you obviously got problems, so let's go. Yo, it's been like that since Fash learned how to put up his hands at 11. Since I met this gentleman, I just said the Savage, bringing it back to that. So this gentleman himself wrote the judge, saying, "Your Honor, please take some of the burden off of him, place it on me. I put him on a bad route since he was 12 years old. He's been drinking and smoking weed since he was 12 years old. I put him on a bad route. Please put some of the burden on me." I read that note. I got that letter to this day. Yes, sir. Yes, madam. I got that letter to this day. So, what do we need? What do we need? We need souls. We need individuals. We need trained human service workers, and we need to know where to place them. We have places to place them. Fash came out to this place. I don't know. My brother didn't come out to this place because of the way his sentence was structured. That's how stupid this fucking system is. He was placed in the middle of the Bethel. You know why? Because he was on something in a day. So that means he didn't have nothing to answer to. So if you ain't got nothing to answer to no more, the government don't care about you. Like right now. Oh, right now, Fash is free. Now Fash can be a voice. Yo, Fash can jump off stage. Fash can say, "What the fuck now, bro?" No, I'm just kidding. Leave all that cut. Fash ain't got no cut, people. Fash did this solo. So really, if I got up in your soul, your cortex, say da-da-da, made you feel a little bit good, made you feel a little bit feisty, have to get your bars up. 1, 2, spirit 1. Fash, God's kid, fuck you, something. Hi, fuck you, something, my father. So back to the Savage shit. That shit's real. So everything you get on stage is 100% real with Fash. That's the only thing. So that's where Fash comes in with his advantage. You're coming at Joseph Gallant, bro, and Joseph Gallant's a vibrant fucking soul. All right, let's go. But right now we're here to fix DLC reform, so we might have to cut all that out. For anybody I gotta cut all that out, I'm sorry for y'all. Download this, cut that part out. Seriously, use this. Push this to our influencers, because there's ways to fix this. So, you know, everybody's always like, "Oh, put money into the DMH, this, do. But nobody's considering how to actually fix the problem. Putting the money places ain't fixing it, you know what I mean? Because even, all right, so Fash had what was called a CPO. We're going to talk about the inside real quick. While I was locked up for 7 years, Fash had what was called a CPO. I have no idea. Fash used to call it the career planner because I'm in the military, right? So I'm like, the career jammer, we used to call him career jammers. Like, go talk, because that's the only time you would see this person. It would be male, female. They're CPOs, they're officers, they're dressed as officers. They're kind of like supposed to be your case manager, I guess. And you only see them once every 6 months, and it's for relocation. And Fash didn't go nowhere for 5 years. So for 5 years, I was going to see this person twice a year for no reason. Yo, the only time I seen this person is when I got horrible fucking news in prison. The only time I ever seen this person is when you get horrible fucking news in prison. Right? And this is supposed to be a case manager. This is supposed to be one working your individual problem. Now, see, this is something the world really has to understand. Fash got an A. His whole entire, I did 40 classes, 40 A's, got 1 B, 40 A's, right? You know how I got my A? Off a paradigm, off of one paradigm. And I'm going to share this with you, world. 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 Understand this. Everybody. You see this right here? They say every fingerprint is different. Every fingerprint is different. Therefore, every life is different. Every problem is different. Every treatment plan should be adjusted to the individual needs of that person. If you have any intent in you to help that person grow, rehabilitate, those big $10 words you're collecting money for, you're retraining us to enter society, your reintegration, rehabilitation, to reintegrate, we're all as different as our fingerprint and should be treated as such. So I'll tell you this, There was 52 casualties on that unit. There was 52 people that took care of the hospital. 52 people saw that person twice a year unless we had something bad happen to us. And then getting lugged off the block or somebody passed away in our family. 2007, FASH lost his father. And that was the only other time I've seen this person outside those twice a year things. I had to get that bad phone call. And then you have to go in that office, you have to take that, and that's for the reality piece of it. You have to take that piece of information, the worst information you ever fucking heard in your life. He was my best friend in this fucking world. Yo, I came home from prison, I walked around for 2 years on the streets, not even fucking realizing I was looking for him. I had to call to that office, go to that office, hold the waterworks back. I had to make it halfway down a tier into my cell. I had my homeboy, like I said, I rode with some bosses upstate. One of the homies came in, asked me what happened. I told him. He was like, ain't even another homie coming in. A couple of them did though, you know what I mean? I got close friends. I ended up, it's just weird. FASH gets like that, yo. So the homie threw a pack of cigarettes up in the cell, closed the door, said, no, we're coming in here today, yo. FASH used to do like boats, run sports, fantasy football, whatever it is. FASH had to kill his time upstate because if not, like I said in one of my other videos, mind, body, and soul. So you got anybody doing time out there, this is some good advice to give them. This is what FASH did with his time. Every single day I did something for my mind, body, and soul. And as long as I did that, I was doing something for myself, and I wasn't giving a day of my life to the government. All right. So now we're gonna talk. How do we help these people? So we don't have anybody on the inside helping these people. We don't have strong counselors on the inside helping these individuality needs. Such as nowadays they have face call. You can face call. That would have been freaking amazing. I don't want to take them, allow that to happen as much as possible. If I could have face called back in the day, bro, I would have been able to do homework with my children. I could have done homework with my children just like this. You know what I mean? This ain't a 3D presence, but it would have been a presence from their father that they could have heard their father's thoughts on some stuff. They absolutely had no thought. So FASH's family was a victim. My daughter, I'm sorry to put this stuff out there. My seeds, I got 2 seeds. I got a son and a daughter. They grew up for 7 years with no father. And it was not their fault. They did not get into the accident. They did not make a decision to be my son and daughter. They did not do nothing bad. But they might be a little bit hurt in life today because of some fucking shit that y'all wanted to help fix. So let's fix it, right? We're gonna fix it. Let's fix it. This is for my fucking daughter. Let's fix it. Let's fix this. DOC, yeah? You with me? All right. So we need people inside. We need strong counselors inside. We need people. So they got this face-to-face visits now on the phone. Beautiful. Reinforce that, especially the people with family. Have counselors in there that know these people have families and try to do things to help this family still freaking exist through this presence. Otherwise, on the other end, you get a very, very tangled web of all kinds of bullshit. 2 souls that invited 4 souls that invited 16 souls that invited 32 souls of fucking problems into one family. How you doing? Good luck to you. You got a soul that was supposed to be on the other side of Massachusetts, dropped off on the east coast side of Massachusetts. It's a 3-hour ride. I don't know how long it is to walk. Good luck to you. If he didn't know anybody, I was the person he called. He didn't know anybody else around the way. He'll come and tell you this. I have case study to this. So I have case study to all these problems, and I know how to help fix all these problems. So please, let's dig in and share this video to anybody that you feel is an influencer, or anybody that is influenced by the DOC, the Department of Corrections, United States. If this goes to any other nations, you'll help any other nations, let it help other nations. Listen, if you're trying to help these people, help these people. If you're trying to put them away for life, put them away for life. Death row people, you want to put them in death row? I'm not the fucking judge. I'm not here to be a judge. I'm here to tell you how you can help reinforce and rehabilitate all the money that you collected for rehabilitation, reintegration, and you're absolutely not doing it. I have a case study on that. I can help you fix this. You have to meld a piece of the department, DMH. You have to, Department of Mental Health. You have to put a piece of that. Now, There's no need to add more buildings. You've got plenty of space inside, so you got people on the inside, and this could help the reintegration part. Is when you actually help the person not be institutionalized no more. This is when they actually learn how to go home and be a civilian. You understand? So these phone calls that need to happen with certain families, hey, every single person needs to have a treatment team that knows how to put together a treatment plan as unique as that person's fingerprint, because that person's life is just as different, just as unique as his finger or her fingerprint. So we need good counselors on the inside saying this one, that one has a family. We do not want to make more disruptive little ones in the world. We want to help the little ones in the world. Why are we hurting our kids? They did nothing. They did nothing to get their adults in prison. My children did nothing to get this stupid ass Marine in prison. I made the horrible decision to put a fucking key in the car after drinking. I shouldn't have. I took two beautiful souls off this planet that I swore to defend. I shouldn't have. I lived the rest of my life in remorse and prayer for these families. The state of Massachusetts did nothing for them till 6.5 years later when they decided if they wanted to collect more money for keeping me. Truth, facts. I wasn't being counseled on the inside. Didn't have one counselor on the inside. You know who I had on the inside was my chaplain. I had to go look for my chaplain though, because guess what? There was 51 people on the block that wasn't going to the chaplain. What do you want back into your society? More people that you can put back in? It's very frustrating to know that we have a pension system set off on crime, off the crime rate. So like I said, if everybody just decided to do nothing tomorrow, what would happen? Stuff needs to happen for these businesses to exist, for these people that have 20-year retirement plans on them. They got the next 4 decades of y'all being locked up, planned, booked. You ready to be booked? That fingerprint that you're so unique as, you ready to have it be put on a freaking... Are you ready to have a little bit of ink on them and then be treated like sheep? FASH still has people in the system. FASH still knows the system's just as fucked up as it was when he left. FASH just left in 2011. FASH knows it's just as fucked up. They collect money and they move bodies around. They mess with these bodies, the irritants, the adjutants. They try to test these people to see how they come out. Let's do an honesty thing. Let's lay all our cards on the table. Let's see what you got for rehabilitation. What is your rehabilitation plan? Department of Correction, Massachusetts. Somebody challenge them. FASH is challenging them right now. If somebody's stronger than me, share this video to them. Ask them, what is their mission statement? What is their mission statement for treatment plans for these people we have locked up? And their families, and the victims, to include the families. No, none of our kids got us there. And yes, they need support through this. Why should they be hurt? They should pay for the sins of their father? No. Other than that, we're doing eye for an eye again, right? You want to go Old Testament? Do it all the way. One way or the other, all the way, man. You're collecting money for this. You are collecting money for this to rehabilitate and reintegrate. So counselors on the inside, counselors on the outside. There are buildings already that exist. And here's the so stupid part of Massachusetts. Massachusetts' biggest flaw is this. Only some of us have to go there due to our sentence structure. So what, only a certain percent of us got to be good? And the funny part is the people that don't have to go there is the people that's not getting jobs and will go back to the same kind of life. I got some solid homies that are coming in from NA and tell you that because they're sober now. But was forced to go back to a certain way of life because that's the only thing they had. They had no job and there was no rehabilitation, no reintegration. We go to a job and say, what, you get $500 if I hire you? Great. I get $500 if I hire a murderer. That's all it says on FASH's paperwork, manslaughter. It does not explain by case at all. Manslaughter, 2 counts. You gonna hire me? Come on. Every case is as different as fingerprint. They should be treated as such. I got a 3.8 in human services. You can hear me talk. I'm not Kramer. clever with words. I'm a wordsmith, but not like this. Perhaps I am emotional intelligence counseling. This is where we can't be riding the ups and the downs. We got to ride the evens. You just seen FASH ride a very emotional up, and that's how I keep myself in check. Is I gotta be aware of my certain things and then put myself back. That's how you keep balancing your life, as a glance average, paperwork included. Come on, we got to get this money back in, right? So we need some foundation because we got some important messages. Because this ain't just Massachusetts, this is nationwide. This could be many nations. You know what I mean? There are 3 elements that we put people away for, and it's absolutely that. It's to punish the person, it's to protect the society, and victim retribution. So for those 6.5 years, nobody was going to those people asking them if they were okay. I could not. So I had a desire. I had more of a desire in my heart, and I could not make contact with these people. But I had more of a desire in my heart to see if these people were okay, to see if there was any help that could be had. Gave. I cared more in my head than was actually happening in the world, because the Department of Massachusetts was just moving around money. Listen, we gotta have the leadership, we gotta have the souls, we gotta have the people to put the stuff in action. We need counseling inside. Those CPOs need to be counselors. They need to have more human service education. They need to have more psychology education, more than FASH has. FASH is not a doctor or nothing like that in psychology. I'm just very good at some of the things I know. Excuse me, FASH got real passionate. Got me flooded up here. All right, so it's a serious topic. So on the other side of this, there's a building. So when FASH finally, here's another one, Massachusetts. So after I got out, this is my case study now. When I got out, I was on parole and probation. I got out on parole. I got out on parole on the strength of Massachusetts finally cared enough to ask those family how they were doing. They finally said, "Hey, we're about to let this guy out. How are you guys doing?" 6.5 years later, that's when they decided to care. But okay, I'm going to share this experience real quick, and I don't know how much I can, so I'm going to keep it to the short. Is this one of those beautiful souls said, if Joseph gets out, I just hope he does the right thing. And I was in absolute tears. You're not supposed to talk to the people. And I mouthed it. I will. I gotta blow my nose. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Fast, keep it on you, which is a little emotional on that. Yo, so one of the victim's family members looked back and said, if Joseph Clint does get out, I just hope he does well with his life. He does a lot of good with his life. And my eyes were teared up, and I just mouthed, I will. The same energy, the same faith, the same energy when I was in that NDE, that near-death experience, when I told you that omnipresence was above FASH. FASH fell prostrate. I felt there was an energy above me that was about to take my soul, and I'm begging, saying, I got a mom, I got a son, I got a daughter, please let me live, please. I need to help them, please. I'll do anything. That's when FASH says he's on borrowed time. I need to help people. I'm a Marine, I need to help people anyways. Yo. A little emotional. So there's ways to fix this. There are ways to fix it. So FASH personally came home on parole for 3 years. I was on parole. They granted me parole. And when I met the parole officers, when I was still locked up, I had to still be locked up for like 2 or 3 months. This is when they do give you little reintegration classes that if you're going to reintegrate, if you're going to get money to reintegrate, you should probably use the money to help these people reintegrate. I got many case studies that this is not happening. This is absolutely not happening. That's all that's happening. There's a little classes going on, and there's some pamphlets gave out, and a little kidding around going on, and then the day's over, the people get good time, and it's about 2 months before their sentence is even over, and the shit's forgotten before we got out, because we don't even know how to stay. We ain't been in the world for 7 years. What do we know how to be about being connected to the world? There is no bridge there. There is no transfer there. There's a huge gap there. There's a huge gap there in the state of Massachusetts, possibly America. Do you want, this is the Department of Corrections. It needs correcting. We know it does. We know it's a broken system. We have cops. I've heard cops. I've heard officers. I've heard lieutenants. I've heard FASH has been in front offices cleaning. Heard directors laughing about rehabilitation, about reintegration, about a broken system. These people will admit to you that it is a broken system. It's a broken system. It's something we need to fix. Well, FASH is telling you how right now. This is how right now. This is how right now. I'm giving you 3 elements that we're locked up for. These are 3 elements we need to look at, and these are the 3 elements we need to reinforce if this is the reason why you have these people locked up. Because here's the difference. You put strong counselors into these people's lives. You put strong counselors into these people's lives. They might have reinforced FASH into being a factor in his family for one, even being a strong factor in his family for one. For 7 years, my kids were fatherless. They didn't do nothing to be fatherless, to be lost and lonely in this world. My kids didn't do nothing to deserve that. They shouldn't have to pay the crimes of their father. We're not Old Testament. We haven't been doing Old Testament on everything else. Why are we doing Old Testament on this? Right? There's a spiritual balance in this. I told you there's a key, that there's an element that we're missing that's making all the math wrong in the universe, and there's a spiritual element that we're missing. Hello. I love y'all, but hello. Come on, please. Yo. So, for 3 years when I came home, I got the parole for 3 years when I came home. I was on parole. So probation didn't even look at me. You're under the reins of parole. They're a higher up officer. I guess they're higher up state officials, whatever. You're under their guard. They waived their stuff for 3 years. Fine. Now, after 3 years of parole, doing it successfully, not getting into trouble, I transfer into my probation. 3 years being into society now, mind you. Already owning a house by this time. 2 years out, I got my shit together, went through college, figured out that being away for 7 years cleaned up my credit, had a little solid job, and said, fuck it, went and applied for a house one day and got it. Marine benefits, military benefits, stuff that was set up before I went to prison. Military benefits, why I push, have a plan. You don't have to be military, have a plan, have a strong plan for your life. All right, let's go. Marines help give a strong life structure plan to FASH's life. I'm on a mission. I'm always on a mission. This is FASH's mission right now. Department of Corrections, we're about corrections. It's a broken system. Well, let's be real about our jobs. Let's actually earn our checks and correct it. So, counselors to the children. Counselors inside that know how to connect the people that need to be connected to their children. Counselors inside that know how to triage souls. Counselors inside that know how to triage souls. To me, the ones that need to be closer to their family and maybe counseling, and then maybe they end up getting out on a minimum, and maybe their minimum move looks like they're in a house for a couple of days a week, and the kids get their parents back for a couple of days a week. Yo, I understand there's people that F things up for everybody. You can't take everything away for a bad. You can't take a good working system out of place because some guy decides to be crazy out there. And this is why we have to have strong leaders in those positions to make sure that we have everything corrected before this happens. What's happening right now anyways? How does the rotating door rotate? It must happen because we must recommit the crime. How do these people keep their pensions? Because people keep repeating crimes. Who keep repeating the crimes? The children that were hurting because the parents weren't there for the decade before. This don't go for all children like that, but it's a strong correlation. All right, so let's keep it moving. So we got these counselors inside of that should be working as absolute triage, working in these people's lives for, hey, listen, FASH felt that I could have been a bigger factor in my kid's life. There was only one time in prison when these people were able to come into church with me, and that was the only time I was able to do anything as a family with them for 7 years. Absolutely unacceptable on their part. What did they do to be lonely in the world for 7 years, bro? Yes, they had a strong mom. They absolutely had a strong dad too. They have strong roots. They deserved them. That's what bring them into the world. Yo, you have your dad. Like, all right. If not, have you been to prison? Yo, there's correlations behind some things. Um, so fascists here to show up. Fascists here to show up. Fascists here to show up. The motivation is my family. It's my family. I've seen how it affects. So yes, I dig down. I dig down. I have to know. My seeds know that I was a bigger being at one time. I took some bad hits in life. Every time I take hits in life, I tend to climb back up, like I said. So I bought that house within the 2 years. Oh, so let's get back to that. So 3 years after, well, I'm owning the house for a year. I'm working, actively working as a counselor inside a veteran homeless shelter with substance abuse problems. Actively doing urines in both first parole, all clean, and then into probation. Actually ain't doing no drugs, all clean. Wasn't even smoking no marijuana or nothing, all clean. Um, Successfully completed parole, went into probation. The first month of probation, they said, "Hey, we got to put you in this reintegration program." So what are you talking about? I said, "I've been out for 3 years." Yeah, no, we got to put you in this reintegration program. You just started your probation. It's part of your probation. We got to have you do this. I had to go to a program. The idea of this program is to make sure the person has a job at the end. So mind you, I already had a job 3 years in, 2 years into this job, but 3 years out, they pulled me out of the work 3 days a week to go to this program. I could have lost my job like that if FASH wasn't a stellar worker and FASH wasn't working for a great company. FASH could have lost like that. Like think about it. Think about it. Case by case, we're destroying lives. We're putting them all in baskets and we're saying, who cares? And then what happens to the next generation? Are they lost? Are they deceived? Are they absolutely lost? Lacking structure? Burnt for something they didn't do? Misunderstood for something they didn't do? Punished for something they didn't do? I'm not talking about FASH. I'm talking about my children, my family. The stresses. FASH lost his father midway. I believe I put a lot of stress in my father's life. FASH lost his father very young. So, we got this place out here that took me out of my job, 3 years out of prison. I was already successful in the streets, completed the parole with no problems, even had like a good little written statement from my parole officer to be transferred to my probation officer. Everything was fine with me and my probation officer, but I still had, aside from my probation officer, I had to go into this place that was called the Community Reentry Service Program or something like that. It's OCCCC in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Now, this place, I had to go there. They had counseling 3 times a day or 4 times a day, whatever it was about, getting word, learning how to do interviews. They had solid programs in there. Unfortunately, they were giving them to the wrong people. They were basking in people up, absolutely not doing the triage. And so there's got to be a mental triage. There has to be a mental triage. And it has to start in the prison. So we put a couple mental health workers in there that's already in there. Then we can step up their jobs. We can step up their degrees. We can step up their pay. We could take these places that's already set out in society, these places called the Great Entry Programs. These places could be checking in with all the victims to help the felon re-enter the society. Make sure he's not coming home to a beef. Hey, how about that? What if he can't go to that town? You know what I mean? This is protecting society at this point. I'm not talking about any individual cases whatsoever. I'm talking about what makes sense. What makes sense is making a treatment plan that's as unique as a fingerprint. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. I thank you very much for watching this. I believe these are the three reasons why a person gets arrested and put away, incarcerated in the state of Massachusetts. It's to punish the person, to protect society, witness, they don't help the witnesses. That's where fascism keeps getting stuck at. It's a retribution, and there ain't no retribution there. You know, How odd, nobody likes giving retribution. Listen, everybody likes collecting the money. We have to do the jobs that's behind this money. So there should be counselors inside these. There's no need to make new structured buildings. There could be if you want to put money in it, put money into it. But if you're saying you can't put money into it, put mental health workers into it. You have the structures, so you already have the open offices that I walk by all the time. That I go there to pee, and there's 6 other offices there offered, like a 10 by 10 office that nobody uses. There's like 4 or 5 in this building that nobody uses. These could be places where case managers are placed. People could be triaging mentally out there and understanding things was happening out there as well. And you wouldn't have a Marine 3 years into parole owning a house entering a reintegration program, making him perhaps bringing up his PSTD and institutionalization. The reintegration, having the people more connected to their families with this FaceTime and giving more FaceTime to those that are needed, those that got kids, make sure they're around to help them with their homework and stuff, and make programs like this, understand programs like this. You'll have a much smoother, successful population come back into society. I'll leave you with that thought. Please, ladies and gentlemen, share this video. FASH's heart and soul is in this video. You might see it as a DOC attack. It's not. It's a reform. It's an absolute reform. I just give you a good structured way. It's about mental health workers. It's about actual trained psychologists, and people and good leaders that make sure that these people actually do their jobs, and not just everybody just laughing around collecting government money saying ha ha ha, good enough for government work. How many times we heard good enough for government work? No, we're done with that. It's time to apply what we know. So FASH is telling you some knowledge. It's time to put some application to what we know. This is FASH's life. I share it. This is all I can do right now. It's for you. Share this video. It's a strong DOC reform. I just told you 3 reasons why people get locked up. 3 things that should be corrected while the people are in there for the rehabilitation to happen and for the smooth reintegration to happen. The 3 topics, which is, the punishment. The punishment will be over once the person's mind is corrected, right? Once they know how to think right, they'll be able to live in remorse. Remorse means to repent of something means to be sorry for it and not do it again. So you handle that with the punishment piece, the mental piece on the inside. So we need the inside counselors for that, right? The second thing is the society protection, making sure that we can protect them into society. It's not just the mind in there now. Now we got to think about the minds out here, the victims out here that they're coming home to in the same city and stuff where their crime happened. Because where else do you go? You go home. So there's got to be treatment teams out there for people and you don't got to force this on people. It's people that's willing to do this. This will correct those lives that want to be corrected. You get it? FASH has been up. I was a cadre for 5 years. Why? That was the only way at the time in Massachusetts to get full good time, 7.5 days. They get 15 days of them now, God bless them. But you could only get 7.5 back then, and you had to earn each section 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And the only way you could get all through is to be a cadre. So I was a cadre for 5 years. I told you you could put me in a whole 5 years if you want. Give me a good time for the whole time. Why? Because FASH had 2 beautiful seats he needed to get home to the very day he could. The very day he could. Did I have a smooth transaction? Did anything ever that happen successfully? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. FASH is staying tuned, because right now FASH might be on, I don't know if I'm on an up or down. Y'all tell me. Y'all tell me when to share this video. I love y'all so much, yo. I put my heart and soul into this. I hope y'all do too. Press the like, subscribe. Like I said, yo, this is the video. This is that video to go ahead and hit share. Push your Instagram link, push it in Twitter, push whatever. Blast this one out. Blast this one out to the homies, homats, to the culture, to the influencers, to people in legislation, to people in power spots, to people who's working in government jobs, to anybody affected and connected to the DOC. The DOC prism is large. The DOC prism, the facet of DOC is large. From the victims to the victims' family, who are also victims because they did not do the crime, to the people that you want back into the population, reintegrated successfully. There must be good work done. I just put out 3 strong challenges, 3 elements, and 3 ways that the state of Massachusetts could absolutely correct this and put some stronger attention into and have a more successful transition rate. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, my name is Joseph W. Deland III, FASH GODZ Kid. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all. I'll hit you with the freestyles tomorrow. This has been on my mind since yesterday, since the epiphany hit. Since that one epiphany hit that nobody checked in on those two people that I was praying for 6 years. Massachusetts cared so much about these people to take my life away, to hurt my kids, and all that stuff, to put separation in all my family on a case that they didn't even really know about too much. They needed to lock me up so bad to help this family, but yet they didn't check in on them until 6.5 years later. Somebody want to weigh in on that in the comment box? I love it. I love y'all to death. Thank you so much. I know Fash got the little pimple up here. I should have left alone. And make up my ass. Here you go. Say Fash instead. God's kid. Say something. Joey, put out the gang go. Put out some hope for the kids. I love y'all. Yo, share this. DOC. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. If there gotta be one on stolen land, nah, I'm not even gonna do that because I need this shared. If you get, like I said, yo, if there's parts in this video that you like and you need to scribble out, yo, download this video, use this video any way you want. Use this video any way you want. Take clips from this video, show this people. People need to see this. If you want to cut out my silly stuff, cut out my silly stuff. But there is a true element there of something that can strongly help society. You know what I mean? As a community leader, the best I can do right now is bring it up out here to y'all. I really need the family to share this one. So like I said, go to your Twitter, Insta, press that share button, blast this one out there. This is a video. This is the one that got the soul in it. This is the live video. Let's help these people that still stuck at SDOC prison. Let's help all these victims, bro. You want to help victims? This is how you help victims. You don't make more victims. You help victims. I love y'all. Stay blessed.